All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the Fitness Competitors Guide. Today we've got a really good topic, especially for newbies. Um, we have Evette here who will be talking about show day expectations and what to do and what not to do. So, Evette, if you could just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Evette Cano. I have been competing now. This will be my 12th year. I am currently I work with the MPC and I help expedite shows as needed. So yeah, that's just a little about me.
And if I remember correctly, you said you've been expediting for quite a while, right?
Yes, it's been a while. I've been doing the Arnold now for this year was my 11th year. I'm very blessed. I just love the event every year.
Yeah, that's cool. Seems like that'd be quite the event to expedite.
It's great. Like you meet so many good people. You learn, you meet new competitors that turn pro. It's a great time and just it's just a really nice competition. The back of the show is just everything. It's just very prestigious.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right then. So let's just get into the questions. So, um, what can you quickly go over just like for show day or on show day, what are the general things that a competitor will be experiencing?
On a typical show day, you're going to wake up early. You will need to get your second tan that day, that morning. You will also be going to, sometimes they'll have like a meeting for all the athletes, not all the time, but and then if you're a girl, you get your makeup done, your hair done, and you can choose whether to do it yourself or you can use somebody that usually the shows have like a specified tanner for that show, and then that tanner will usually have a makeup artist with them, or they have a company that works with them. So yeah, it's a long day of also sitting around in the back,
Yeah.
um keeping your feet up, just kind of trying to stay in your own space. And lots of resting in the morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So then, so the competitors, they've gotten their makeup done, their tan done. What what do they have to do backstage besides resting, obviously? What are they waiting for, listening for?
They are going to be listening for their classes to be called, you're going to hear the show going on. You've got photographers back there. You've got a lot of people back there. And, I just usually pick a little spot that's kind of away from everything. And I take a blanket and I just sit there and I chill.
Yeah.
I'm not really one to listen to music, but a lot of times you see competitors listening to music. Now, I take that back. I switched divisions this year. So, yes, I was listening to my music a lot, a
Yeah.
lot. But
Uh,
go ahead.
oh, I was gonna ask, so then is there, so when I'm backstage, I will sometimes hear the same number being called
Oh
over and
my
over.
gosh. Yes. Well, so typically we'll call you twice, if we don't find you, there's still a show that needs to go on. So it's really important that athletes are in the designated athlete area. Um, you need to be ready. And usually like if I'm fitness now. It's so crazy. I'm fitness now, so you're usually the first one up. So you've got to be ready, you've got to have your suit on. You need to always know where your number is. You've got to put your shoes on. You're practicing, your poses. But yeah, you'll hear expediters call out the same number over and over. And usually the athletes are all really good at finding that, like, once they see them, they'll be like, you're needed out there. And, it was really sad at the Arnold because there was a girl that actually missed her class completely. Now, she missed it because she was getting her makeup done. And that's one thing that I would like to emphasize to competitors. Like, if you're not going to do it yourself, try to get, like, for me, I always try to make sure I'm one of the first allotted times for makeup. I'd rather be ready too early and rest in my room until I'm needed to go down there, knowing that I'm all ready, instead of doing my makeup, right when the show's starting. That just kind of makes for, you're already nervous that day anyways. You don't, you want to try to help yourself to not get in positions like that. And so I just really emphasize getting, like, even with the tan, if the tanners, they usually will tell you that the night before, hey, come back at this time is when we're starting. I'm there 10 minutes before their first appointment, before they open, to do touch-ups, because I just would rather get it all done than be late and run around like a crazy person,
Yeah. Yeah. For in that case when the girl missed her, oh my gosh, that's so sad that she missed her.
Awful. It was so awful. I wanted to cry for her, but there was nothing we could do. Her class, so this was another thing that I really wanted to stress to competitors. If the show says it starts at 8, don't think you can be getting makeup done at 8 o'clock and thinking that you're going to have all this time till you get on stage. Depending upon what team, usually, the expediters work fast.
Yep.
They work very fast. We're very efficient. And you don't want to, you pay all that money and you go through all, it broke my heart. But hopefully she knows now, got to be there right at 8.
Yeah.
When the show starts, she showed up at 9:30.
Oh, that's quite late, especially if it's a very fast show or a small show even. It can go really, really quickly.
They do. They really go fast. And the people that work the shows are very prepared, and they've just got to keep it moving. We do feel terrible when we have to tell you, I'm sorry, but you missed your class. We also had a lot of people just showing up and literally taking their suitcases all the way up. Like, so at the Arnold, the competitors have like a pump up room, and that's where they can put all their, everything that you bring to the show, your shoes, if you have a blanket, your food. But there was literally like 30 suitcases right by the stage, because people were literally just running to get on the stage, literally putting their shoes on as they're going up to get on stage. Like, for me, I'm already so nervous when I compete that wouldn't be good for me.
No. No, oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't get any chance to pump up or just like calm the nerves for a bit and everything.
Yes. Collect your thoughts and
Yeah.
get your head where you need it to be.
Yeah. So specifically for like fitness competitors, what are some things, some different things you think they should be doing? Because obviously there's the routine aspect of it. So how can they prepare and get ready on show day?
On show day, well, typically you're going to do your physique round. So first, so you're going to need to have on your suit, you're going to need your shoes, and you sometimes, we'll adjust our makeup and do some fun stuff, for the night show. But again, it depends on how the shows run. Like the show that I did, it we did pretty much all of prejudging and then boom, started right in with finals.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so you know, I literally just went up, I did my posing, and then from that point on, I'm just got my music in my ears, trying to make sure I know where everything's at on a typical day too, before the show starts. Fitness competitors are allowed to be on the stage and kind of mark the stage, because you're going to need to know, if this goes too far, where do I need to be to make this pass right? Or, you want to make sure that you're on the stage and not running into curtains and stuff. So you're going to want to mark things.
Mhm.
And then also as a fitness competitor, you're going to be getting on that stage right after or right before finals starts, and you're going to be doing your routine practice. You're going to be going through all your routine, everything in your routine, your choreography, your tumbling, your just your strength moves. You go up there and you do all that, and you are in front of everybody at that point. You don't have to dress up or do anything like that. Typically you'll find girls just wearing like a sports bra and shorts, or a t-shirt and shorts, or just whatever is comfortable for them to be warming up in what they need to do next.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important to warm up, otherwise you'll get injured. Uh,
Yes.
I've I've been at some shows where the order of the finals night was actually kind of weird. They had fitness like in the middle instead of like at the very beginning. Fortunately, my coach was aware of it and had some pull with the promoter and like was
Yeah.
able to like reorganize it. But for other, like if someone brand new and they don't have the same like backup like I had, is there a right way to talk to the expeditors and promoters and be like, hey, can we move this around? Because there's a very like I think there's a very serious like risk to fitness competitors if they don't go first.
I do too. Like, there is a way of talking to them, and they're normal people just like we all are. They're very accommodating, and one thing I will say is the MPC is all about the athletes. So they will hear you out, but the one thing I will say is don't be like trying to tell them how to run their show, because that probably won't go over very well. I would just be yourself and be kind, and just, tell them this is what's going on and this is how I feel, and they will make adjustments as needed. They are very good with that.
Yeah. And for anyone who is new and doesn't understand what the risks are, sometimes the bodybuilders go first and they're doing their posing routine. They could leave oil on the floor. And if you're tumbling, it'll
Yes,
slip on it.
yes,
Right. That's
yes,
a huge risk. Or,
that is
if you warmed
huge.
up, yeah. Or if you've warmed up, but then you're backstage and you've cooled down, that's kind of like a risk also. So just trying to
Yes,
avoid anything where you could injure yourself.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, that oil can be very dangerous for a fitness competitor. You're so right on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember at one show, it was a pro am show, and they had women's bodybuilding, and then they had a break, and I was allowed to go in and warm up. And I'm at first I wasn't going to, because I was like, oh, it's fine. I'm really warm. I good. But then my coach was like, no, you really got to do it. I was like, okay, fine. So I went there. I did like one tumbling pass, and I slipped because someone had left some oil on the ground, and I didn't hurt myself too badly. I was just like shocked, and I was like, huh, that's really good. I found that out now, and I told the expediters and like asked them to clean it up and everything. So
Yes.
definitely got to watch out for those stage
Oh,
spots and stuff.
yes. And even with like there's that, but sometimes there'll be a wire or something that's up, you really got to check the floor yourself before, like while you're doing the practicing, to make sure that there's nothing that's going to hurt you too.
Yep.
Like at the Arnold, the pro girls were awesome. They were like, there's this over here, girls. They all they were there to help each other. It
Mm-hmm.
was really awesome to watch them practice and warm up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I've seen clips when they'll be backstage like spotting each other and everything, just helping each
Yeah,
other out. It's a very good like community of people.
it really is.
It's
They're
not,
like
it's not like a very, you know, yeah,
it's a different division. It really is. We help each other out, and when you meet another fitness competitor, you're on kind of on almost automatically friends, because
yeah.
that's just the way fitness is. The girls are just very, oh hey, you do fitness? Me too. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So are there so you talked about like timing with like makeup, making sure you're on like behind stage, basically on time. Is there anything else you've seen that could that maybe people could do better to make your life easier as an expediter or
Yes.
anything?
Yes, please read all the information that is handed out to you, even on the website about the show. You would be surprised at how many people show up and they're just like, huh? Where? What? Okay, well, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? You spend a lot of money for that day and you work so hard. Know what you're getting into before you get there, at least have somewhat of an idea, because you'd be surprised at how many people don't read everything that's given to them. And it's only given to you to help you out.
Mhm.
And even, with the athlete meeting, that too, that's there to help you guys out. And that's where you can ask all your questions. And, if you have any concerns too, you can bring it up at that point too. But, and just be at the show 30 minutes before. You really don't want to just show up and boom, you're on stage. Stay at the host hotel if you can. It's so much easier than getting out, taking a cab, just or an Uber nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's really easy. Tanning's usually right there, makeup's right there, hair's right there, check-ins are right there, and usually the show is in there too. So it's easier for you to get around. It just makes the whole operation so much easier that day. I've really, like, I used to, I used to stay every once in a while at different hotels, but you're still paying for parking. You're looking for parking. You don't know how long that's going to take. It's so much easier. Just stay where the NPC is.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
my biggest thing was, another thing, be prepared. If you don't get your tan by the tanner for the show, they will charge you in the back for any bite, any shine you will get. And they know if you got tanned by them. They know.
Yeah.
Um, so be prepared for that in that event, that you decide to tan yourselves. Just, understand that they're doing their job there.
Mhm.
Just, you know, but
Yeah.
I would say reading and being at the show 30 minutes beforehand, staying at the host hotel, all that just makes your life easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, and you're quite the experienced competitor now for, you said 12 years of competing?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
through it, done that, and I've done a lot of things wrong in the beginning, but like now it's like a walk in the park for me that day. It
Yeah.
it's easy
Yeah.
pretty much because you've got your flow going. You know what to expect. I'm usually in and out of things right away, but I always read everything because at the same time, like, I don't want to show up there just not being the one asking all these questions because they give you the information.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know you because it can be frustrating when it's like, well, if you just read a few lines, you know the answer
Right. Because
already.
we're like, well, didn't they get all that paperwork?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay. We all, show day's hard for all of us, and it's different for every single person. We're depleted, you're not eating as much as you probably would normally be eating. So, and especially if it's your first show, just really double check everything. And hopefully you have somebody in your corner that you can talk to, to help you out and make you feel a little bit more confident. One thing I always say, like one thing that I've always stood by when I go to the back is that I look at everybody in the face. I look at nobody's body because you don't, sometimes girls do that and it just makes them in a bad mood. Like you
Yeah.
don't want it to alter that. You want to go out there and shine, do your best and be
Yeah.
your best that day. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's your work. You're showing off, and everybody on that stage should be darn proud of themselves because it takes a lot to get to that point.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good advice. Like, yeah, you don't want to be like starting to compare yourself to other people. It's like just
No.
recognize you put a lot of work into this and just be excited to now show it off and everything.
Like another thing that I've always used, like I'll look at the judges in the eyes now, but it was hard for me at first. So is what I would do is I would just look at their foreheads and smile, and it still makes them think, oh, she's looking at me.
Yeah.
It kind of tones it down a little bit for you. And one thing, don't ever look into the audience because those lights are bright and you will see stars.
Yeah.
And you don't want to accidentally trip up there. It's already a lot of people get nervous when they're on that stage. So just trying to help yourself with every single little bit that you can.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Like being a little more prepared, knowing where to look to make it easier on yourself so you're not like freaking out.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, let's see. I had some other questions now I can't remember them. Oh, okay, yes. So then what what other so maybe even before show day things, what can people do to start I don't know, I guess you mentioned reading ahead of time, but anything to like help calm the nerves a little bit?
I read a lot of motivational books before, like while I'm in prep. Things that help in my head gives me power, like strength.
Yeah.
Um, I do a lot of that. Um, That's really what that, and just practicing posing. The more you practice your posing and your routine, the more confident you're going to be that day that you're ready. And it's like second nature, like here we go, let's go. Even practicing, maybe in front of a bunch of people
Mhm.
doing posing, because it's intimidating sometimes, it's it helps the nerves, because you're still going to get a little bit nervous, especially if you're new, being in front of all these random people, just practicing your posing. So even posing classes are kind of good. I really enjoy those. I do a lot of one-on-ones now, but I still will go to posing class at least twice, where there's everybody there, just to always, it just helps you to know how to be in line, what the process is up there on stage, how they're going to run the people. You learn, because there's not that much space up there, because they want all you competitors next to each other, because they're comparing apples to oranges. So they really, it's a tight squeeze up there at times, and you've got to learn how to kind of be able to move. And another thing is, don't walk behind. Like when you're called for a comparison, if they say 28 switch with 69, you both raise your arms, you look at each other, see where you're at, and then walk in the front. Don't walk to the back of there. You spent time to be noticed. You want to be noticed up there. So walk in front. It's okay to walk in front. And even if the other one does too, it's okay. You should do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I see that a lot sometimes with the newer girls. I'm like, why are you going behind people? We can't
I
see you. Come
know.
back.
I know, please.
Yeah.
So, there's that. Yeah, these are just some little things that I've used.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions on what to do for like the finals night? Because I've seen some sad things happen where maybe someone didn't think they were placing well in prejudging, and so they maybe didn't show up, but they actually were in like the first call outs.
Um, yeah, that unfortunately happens. I don't understand it. It's always good to go back regardless, because it shows showmanship.
Right.
You're it it's there's times where I have not wanted to go back, but you go back because you're there for the NPC. You're there to do the show, and you are the show. You're part of the show. Whether you place or not, you are part of the show, and we
Mhm.
want to see you. And everybody should, you know, be applauded. They introduce you, and it helps also the judges to get to know you, because they see your face again.
Yeah.
And it's always good to be seen. It really is.
Do you know if if judges notice if you don't show up? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
they do.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it
We
doesn't hurt.
know, because, we'll know when we start lining up the people if they didn't show up. And there was
Uh-huh.
people that placed and didn't show back up.
Oh, that's
So
so
we
sad.
moved another person up in that spot.
Yeah.
I that it's always show up. You never know. And sometimes, they're judging that night too. So you may not have gotten the greatest call out, in the morning, but maybe you look better at night.
Hmm.
You know, it's really good to show up and just be there to support everybody else and yourself.
Yeah.
Be there to be proud of all the
Yeah.
work you did.
I want to jump back to your saying the convenience of staying in the host hotel. But if someone for some reason couldn't get to the host, book the host hotel, because sometimes they do get overbooked,
Yeah.
right? What and I know this has happened to at least one girl where she ended up being stuck in traffic, and so she missed her thing. Is there any like could she have like called or contacted someone and be like, there's really bad traffic, or would that not have mattered depending on like how long it took her or
It's always worth a try.
Mhm.
It's always worth a try. Um, once I mean, we can sometimes slow the show down a little bit, you know. So it's always worth a try. And when you said, you know, if you don't stay at the host hotel, that's totally okay. Sometimes people don't want to be around everybody. They just kind of want to do their own thing. So I would just suggest at that point, maybe trying to stay closer to the event, like as close as you can possibly get. Like I know like in Pittsburgh, there's not always a lot of options that are right there.
Yeah.
So there is driving. But yeah, it's always worth a try to communicate with them. It really is. They will do whatever they possibly can to help every single athlete out because the athletes they mean a lot to us, you know?
Yeah. Is there usually like a I don't know, head expediter or someone that they can get in contact with? Like, is that something you would recommend doing? Like, hey, can I get this person's number? Or is there like what's the protocol there?
I would contact the promoter.
Okay. Okay.
I would contact the promoter of the event. And usually the promoters are always very good about being like they're right there on their phones.
Mhm.
So especially on show day, I would contact the promoter and then the promoter will come and let us know, hey, you know, this is going on. Can we do this differently? Or can we do this?
Okay.
And because all of our info pretty much comes from, you know, the promoter.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's really good advice. I'm always like too nervous to contact the promoter.
I used to be too nervous too, but like I said, they're just normal people
Yeah.
too. They're cool. They're all so nice and everybody's so willing to help each other out. The
Yeah.
MPC is a really good federation for that. Like they do everything that they can to
Yeah.
because it's about the athlete. Without the athletes, there wouldn't be an MPC.
Yeah. So true. Very true.
Yes.
All right, well, we're coming up to the end of our time. Is there any last words you have, advice for newbies and or even like not newbies who have been probably doing something wrong this whole time that they could improve on?
One thing I'm gonna stress is your tan. Always be prepared for your tan. Especially as a girl, you know, what so this is a very cheap way of doing it, of exfoliating, but you want to exfoliate before, like I try to do it at least 2 times the week of the show. And then if I'm in prep, I'll try to do it once a week. I literally use baking powder or baking soda and water
Yeah.
in the shower. It's cheap, it's easy, and it works. But
Yep.
by doing that, your tan's not going to be splotchy because sometimes if you see people's tan being splotchy, that's usually what it is. It's, you know, what's underneath. So that will help your tan, and it will also help your tan to adhere to your skin and soak in a lot better. Baby powder. Bring baby powder and like even if it's a washcloth, just to pat your underarms. That's great. It's a cheap way of also you know, just smelling as fresh as we can that day because
Yeah.
we can't wear any fragrance and you know the fragrance will turn the tan green. I would also, even if you're putting on hairspray, girls, put a robe on just to cover up that tan a little bit. Because again, anything you mix with that tan can mess with it.
Yep.
Let's see. I always will shave the day before, not that day.
Mhm.
Because I feel like that day is the day of getting your first tan. It just doesn't turn out as good as it does if you shave the day before. Because your pores are kind of opened.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did write some notes down. But yeah, I think that's about covers it, with little tricks of the trade. For new people. Oh, one thing people to be very aware of, competing costs a lot of money. But be prepared to have an NPC card. And be prepared to have cash too for that. I think it's 135 now. 125.
It's 150 this year, I think. They
Oh,
bumped it up, but they added the whole like that discount stuff that you can get now with your card.
yes. So you want to have cash that will get you through the whole year, but you need to have an NPC card to participate in NPC events. Sometimes people don't understand that. They're like, huh, what? So it's another expense just to plan for, Girls, if you can, I would try to bring a second pair of shoes. I say that because you never know if a pair of your heels break. If something just breaks on them, you never know. There's even been people that have had their shoes stolen.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, always have a backup pair, just like even with a bikini, like I'll usually bring two just in case. One thing, have safety pins on you, because I say that in case something breaks. Sometimes the tanners don't always have them, and I've been asked for them so many times, because that's what fixes your suit if in the event it does something
Somewhere. Yeah.
I would suggest that, and another pair of shoes if you can. If you don't have another pair, it's okay. Just be careful.
Yeah, for sure. All right then. Well, thank you. That was a lot of really great tips and information. If someone wanted to just like reach out to you and ask you more questions, how could they do that?
You can reach me on my email, or you can reach me on instant messenger on Instagram. My email is EVETTEMCANO@gmail. And on Instagram, I'm Evette.Cano_. So anybody I am very willing to talk to anybody who wants some more extra help or needs a friend to talk to about, show day. I'm completely here.
Great. Well, thank you so much again for your time. Really appreciated this.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And I'll hopefully talk to you later sometime.
Yes, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. All right. Bye.